Nanda, Jayo Jayo, Shri Chaitanya, Jayo Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, so we continue. So yesterday we were in this verse almost at this point, famous verse. This verse is spoken by Srimati Radharani. My dear friend, I met my very old and dear friend Krishna on the field of Kurukshetra. I'm the same Radharani and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant. But still I like to go to the bank of the Yamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of a sweet flute playing on the fifth note within the forest of Vrindavana. This is a very famous verse. To understand, appreciate this verse, how much our heart has to be pure. Just imagine. So therefore, life is for purification, purification. You can appreciate this, but to feel the ecstasy to get Krishna to Vrindavana without awe and reverence, to relate with him, was unimaginable. This is the highest form of love which we can imagine. Now, O devotees, please hear a brief explanation of this verse. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thinking in this way after having seen the Jagannatha deity, subjected to thought was Srimati Radharani, who met Krishna on the field of Kurukshetra. Although she met Krishna there, she was nonetheless thinking of him in the following way. She thought of him in the calm and quiet atmosphere of Vrindavana, dressed as a coward boy, but at Kurukshetra, he was in a royal dress, accompanied by elephant, horses, and crowd. The atmosphere was not congenial to their meetings. Okay? Thus, meeting with Krishna and thinking of Vrindavana atmosphere, Radharani longed for Krishna to take her to Vrindavana again to fulfill desire in that calm atmosphere. The gopis spoke thus, Dear Lord, whose navel is like a lotus flower, the lotus feet are the only shelter for those who have fallen deep in the well of material existence. Your feet are worshipped and meditated by the great mystic yogis and are highly learned philosophers. We wish that this lotus feet may also be awakened within our heart, although we are only ordinary persons engaged in household affairs. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. The gopis thought, Dear Lord, if your lotus feet again come to our home in Vrindavan, our desires will be fulfilled. Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada, the great Acharya, Srila Prabhupada's guru, comments on this. The gopis are purely engaged in service of the Lord without motive. They're not captivated by the opulence of Krishna, nor the understanding that he is the supreme personality of God. Now, this service to Krishna without awe and reverence is what is unique in Vrindavan. Unique in Vrindavan. And no other incarnation reveals this level of intimacy. Because once there is awe and reverence, there is some kind of a gap. Okay? So without awe and reverence, any relationship becomes very intimate. So sometimes, many times people ask, why you have ISKCON as only Radha Krishna temples, not Rukmini Krishna temples. They don't understand this point, that the Radha Krishna relationship is stronger than Rukmini Krishna. Otherwise, you see, Devaki Krishna and Yashoda Krishna. In fact, Devaki made obeisances to Krishna when he was born, but Krishna paid obeisances to Yashoda. Yeah. And so as we read Krishna book also, you will understand more of this. This is without awe and reverence, is very, very dear. The gopis are attracted to Krishna as a coward boy and not in the sophisticated guise. Take care. So you can please read when you get time. In one verse, Sri Rupa Goswami explained the confidential meaning of the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam for the understanding of the general populace. The gopis can, Dear Krishna, the fragrance of the mellows of your pastime spread throughout the forest, the glorious land of Vrindavana, which is surrounded by the sweetness of the district of Mathura. In the congenial atmosphere of the wonderful land, you may enjoy your pastime with a flute dancing on your lips and surrounded by us, the gopis, whose hearts are always enchanted by the unpredictable ecstatic emotions. So this is the prayer by the gopis, Krishna, please come to Vrindavana. In this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Jagannatha. He saw that the Lord was with his sister Subhadra and he was not holding flute in his hand. Take it, this is more of a Dwarka mode. Absorbed in the ecstasy of the Gopi, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wished to see Jagannatha in the original form as Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, standing in Vrindavan, appearing very beautiful, his body curved in 3 places, and his desire to see that form was always increasing. That's why Srimati Radharani inconsistently talked with the bumblebee in the presence of Uddhava. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his ecstasy talked crazily and inconsistently day and night. This happens if you those who read Krishna book. Krishna sent Uddhava to meet gopis, and they will die almost. They were in so much pain in separation from Krishna. So Uddhava instructed them, and Krishna sent a letter. If you read Krishna book, those who remember, Krishna could not write the letter properly. His hand was shaking on his right. So they could not even read the handwriting. Krishna's handwriting was spoiled. Krishna's handwriting. So Uddhava was reading the letter like a pharmacist can read. He was extremely intelligent, Uddhava, and is explaining that there is no question of any separation. Krishna is saying between me and you, like that. And actually, Krishna bound by the love of bound by the love of the gopis. Krishna doesn't take one step out of Vrindavan. He's always there, bound by the love of the residents of Vrindavan. And he's there in their meditation. He's there in their love. Anyway, that's a big topic. So when Uddhava visited Vrindavana, he was totally wonderstruck by something. What is that? The love of Radharani. He saw Radharani talking to a bumblebee, almost like a mad person. And that is mentioned in even other Puranas. This pastime is mentioned. It's interesting. That lady is, because, the interesting thing, in Bhagavatam doesn't mention the name of Radharani for various reasons. And but other Puranas say this lady who was talking like a mad with the bumblebee is Radharani. So the same pastime is mentioned in other scripture, and the person identified as Srimati Radharani. Take care. The last 12 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passed in the transcendental craziness that they executed the last pastimes in 3 ways. For the 24 years, now what is going to come is a synopsis of the Lord Chaitanya Leela. Okay, so the whole Chaitanya Leela is giving a synopsis. For the 24 years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted renounce order, the whatever pastimes executed were unlimited and unfathomable. Who can understand the purpose of pastime? Due to indicate those pastimes, presenting a general survey of the chief pastime in the form of synopsis now. The first synopsis: after accepting the sannyasa order, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded towards Vrindavana. So that's what happened. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in an ecstasy and he is going toward Vrindavana. And Nityananda Prabhu is going behind him. Nityananda Prabhu says, I'll guide you. You know why? Because, as a childhood boy, I had traveled all over India. If you know Nityananda Prabhu, when he was a small boy, some saint came to the house of Nityananda Prabhu, Harai Oja, his father. And he asked the father, said, what dakshina I can give you to the saint? He said, give me your son. I need some assistant. I'm going around holy places. And son packed up, Papa, I'm ready to go. And he was like, Harai Oja, couldn't say no. And he died actually, just like Dasharatha died. He died very soon after the son went away. The son was everything for him. That is Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu went all around India with him. So he told Chaitanya, I know all the way. I know all the way. Don't worry, Papa. I know all the way. He's telling Chaitanya, don't worry. I know all the way. So he's walking behind Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and intentionally diverting him. And it's Krishna's pastime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. Because for him, accepting the sannyasa was the thunderbolt for the mother Sachi. She had lost first sons, I think 6 sons, and then later that one elder son had taken sannyasa and gone away, and the Vishwarupa, and then now Vishwambara Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also taken sannyas. And husband is not there. Imagine for her unbearable pain. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives her a chance, because in Vedic culture it is allowed to meet the mother, but not the wife after taking sannyas. So wife was also, don't worry, she's Lakshmi. If you go to Navadip, there is a place where there is Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, where the beautiful deity she made of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And she every day chanted there constantly. And she used to put 1 grain of rice after, say, 1 round, like that, have little food at the end of the day. Great tapasya she was doing and constantly worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyway, so don't put them in the material domain and ask what happened, this is all material domain. There is no question of separation of Krishna from the gopis or from Lakshmi or Sita. While proceeding to Vrindavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was overrun with ecstatic love of Krishna and lost all remembrance of the external world. In this way, he traveled continuous 3 days in Radha Desha country where Ganges doesn't flow. So Nityananda Prabhu was guiding him, this way. And he was guided him wrong. And he brought him to the place so that he can be taken to the house of Advaita Acharya. First of all, Nityananda Prabhu bewildered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bringing him along the bank of the Ganges, saying it was river Yamuna. He said, we have reached river Yamuna. Chaitanya Prabhu started praying to Yamuna and taking bath. Then suddenly Advaita Acharya landed in the boat. He said, what's happening here? Advaita Acharya, you have come to Vrindavan all the way on the boat? He says, is this Vrindavan? He asked Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya said, wherever you are, my lord, that is Vrindavana. Oh my God, you guys cheated me. Yes. And then he said, your clothes are wet now. You're taking bath in the, Ganges. Your clothes are wet. So yeah, you don't have another set of clothes. So can you come to my house? You can change your clothes and have 3 days he had not eaten. He was dancing, and next day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu going towards Vrindavan. So you can have little food. And at his home, actually, there was a huge feast, which is described, and there is a big pastime there. In fact, Nityananda Prabhu plays with Advaita Acharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, a sannyasi says, so much you have made. Can you give me a little in the plantain leaf? So Advaita Acharya says, sit down. I know you're Jagannatha, please eat. And then they're eating. Nityananda Prabhu is sitting. Nityananda Prabhu plays joke with Advaita Acharya. He says that, he plays joke with Advaita Acharya. He says that, I thought after 3 days of fasting, there is something to it. What is you giving me? So Advaita Acharya says, you are a mendicant. Should be satisfied what a bhiksha we get. So Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya keep having jokes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in another mood. Sannyasi, give a little, some boiled vegetables. So very nice it is. Okay, that will you read later when you go to the pastimes in detail. After 3 days, Lord Chaitanya came to the house of Advaita Acharya from Shanti, accepted alms. And at this time, Advaita Acharya arranged to get his mother there so that she can see the son for the last time. This is the first acceptance. At the first taking bhiksha after sannyasa, generally sannyasi will not cook. He eats other cooks. True, this is more of karma kanda. Srila Prabhupada to America personally had to cook. That's the reality. Who will cook for him? But generally, sannyasi will be absorbed, will not be cooking. At night, he performed congregation chant. They take bhiksha. They'll go to the pure house and accept. And generally, they eat once in a day, not 5 times in a day. And that's it over. At the house of Advaita Prabhu, he met with his mother as well as all the devotees of the Mayapura. And he adjusted everything and then went to Jagannath Puri. Okay, so the devotees that come from Mayapur, you see the birthplace. And then after that, he begged his mother that, in madness, I have taken sannyas. He said like that. What should I do? His mother thought for a while. As a mother, I want my child to be with me all the time. But then people will speak bad of him. After sannyasa, we should not go to home, rather go away from home. So she said, my one request, don't go to Vrindavan. You stay at Jagannath Puri. So if you stay at Jagannath Puri, I'll get regular news about you. And you will also come maybe to, you will come to take bath in the Ganga. So that way I will get your news and maybe see you. So like that, mother's request, he accepted. And instead of planning to go to Vrindavana, he changed and stayed at Jagannath Puri. He went for a brief one time to Vrindavana, but he stayed at Jagannath Puri. So going to Vrindavana, there are 2 visits to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One visit which was unsuccessful. He came back half the way. There is some reason, because lakhs of people are following him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that's not the way. And second time he went, and actually he went to Vrindavan. And we read the short of that. And that journey, Varanasi, he reached and he delivered Prakash and the Saraswati. We read in the Adi Leela that pastime. On the way toward Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed many pastimes, visited various temples, and heard the story about Madhantapuri and installation of Gopala. So this all we'll read in detail. Madhya Leela is very, very sweet and nectarian. We will read the story of Madhantapuri and the Shir Chor Gopinath. Okay? Very interesting. In fact, when he went to Jagannath Puri, this time we didn't go. That temple is a little further away, Shir Chor Gopinath temple. From Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the story of Shir Chor Gopinath, then the witness, and of the witness. That is, we went to this place, Sakshi Gopal. Then the Nityananda Prabhu broke the sannyasa rod belonging to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu was not happy with the sannyasa rod of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is not at all happy, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't need it. And he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there are various orders of sannyasa also. The highest order of sannyasa, Paramahamsa, you don't need to carry the rod. After the sannyasa rod was broken by Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu apparently became very angry, left his company to travel alone to Jagannath temple. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the Jagannath temple, saw Lord Jagannatha, immediately lost his sense and fell down to the ground. The mood of Radharani, here is my Lord, and became unconscious. We can't even imagine this. Huh? Can you imagine? Hmm? We also went to Jagannath Puri. How many of us? Correct? Many of us took darshan many times. Anybody lost consciousness? We can externally, artificially do it. Then people will speak about me. See. I remember when I joined the temple, I used to think like that. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I should faint. So everybody said, see, how advanced devotees. That's foolishness. There should be natural love of Krishna. Then you see the Lord, you get these emotions. And we cannot anyway come ever to the platform of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahabhava. Mahabhava, Jiva cannot experience. After Lord Chaitanya Prabhu saw Lord Jagannatha in the temple and fell down unconscious, Sarva Bhattacharya took him to the home, and the Lord remained unconscious till the afternoon when he finally regained his consciousness. The Lord had left Nityananda's company, had gone alone to Jagannath temple, but later Nityananda, Jagannatha, Damodar and Mukunda came to see him. To seeing him, they were very pleased. Okay. So they were following him because Chaitanya Prabhu was upset. Nityananda broke the sannyasa rod. He said, you people keep away. You're a disturbance for me. So he went alone and he fainted. And he was in the house of Sarva Bhattacharya. Then behind these people came Nityananda, Jagannatha, Damodara, Mukunda. These four were accompanying him. Again. After this incident, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy on Sarva Bhattacharya. Sarva Bhattacharya, we went to that house, Ganga Mata house, ashram. And there Sarva Bhattacharya's, we saw that Shadbhuja form he showed. And after bestowing mercy on Sarva Bhattacharya, actually Sarva Bhattacharya is like Prakashan Saraswati Mayavadi. He was the priest of the king, very, very big person. But and he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you're so young, so young. And Nilambar Chakravarti, who was the Jagannath Mishra's, his grandfather, maternal grandfather, was a very famous scholar. And Sarva Bhattacharya knew him very well. So he felt Chaitanya was like his, child. He was very affectionate towards him, Sarva Bhattacharya. And he said, I want to teach you the Advaita Siddhanta and here the Sharirika Bhashya, because you're so young. How will you remain sannyasi without that? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing his affection, I said, okay, I'll hear. Generally, a Vaishnava doesn't hear Mayavada Bhashya. Mayavada Bhashya hu is Sarvanasha. But Lord has a heart, anyway he's hearing. No? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is anyway hearing in the heart. So I said, okay, I'll hear. And then you know what happened. 7 days he heard, he was silent. And then finally, he said, you don't understand anything? Why you're sitting silent? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I understand, but your meaning is wrong. Then what's the correct meaning? Then he explained the real meaning. He said, you're only giving interpreted meaning, not the direct meaning of the verse. The covering by a sun by the cloud. Sun doesn't need advertisement. Don't cover it. Don't cover the real meaning by your interpreted explanation. Take the direct meaning of the verse. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the real meaning. As Sarva Bhattacharya, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him actually Shankaracharya is not at fault, he was actually ordered by the Lord to do what he did. Immediately Sarva Bhattacharya was shocked. Wow, really? So people had such faith in the Shastra. And finally, after his all questions were answered, he surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, became a great devotee. Okay. So bestowing mercy on Sarva Bhattacharya, the Lord started for southern India. When he came to Kurma Kshetra, he delivered a person named Vasudeva. It was Vasudeva Vipra, he was a leper actually. And when he came to know near Kurma Kshetra, when he came to know Lord Chaitanya had already left. So he fainted. My God, I could not see the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared mystically, just appeared. And he embraced him. And just when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him, his leprosy went away. Then he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, I know you made me so handsome, I'm worried I'll become proud. There is very beautiful conversation. We will read later in Madhya Lila. This is enough synopsis of Madhya Lila, which you're going to read very soon. After visiting Kurukshetra, the Lord visited South India temple of Jayada Narasimha and offered his prayers of Narasimha. On his way, he used the chanting Hare Krishna mantra in every village. The Lord mistook the forest on the bank of Godavari to Vrindavan, the place he happened to meet Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai was a very, very advanced devotee. Yes. Who is Ramananda Rai? The team.
Lalita Saki Prabhu.
And
Prabhuji, Lalita Saki and Arjuna.
yes. Lalita Saki and Arjuna. Okay. There are 5 brothers. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said you are like 5 Pandavas. And the father was Pandu. Okay, their father. Okay. Ramananda Rai. Okay, very, very advanced devotee. Lalita. And who was the another person? Yesterday we say Vishaka. Who was Vishaka? Sarup Damodara. So Radharani's two most intimate associates are who? Lalita and Vishaka. They were there as Ramananda and Swarup Damodar with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if Krishna has come to taste the love of Radharani, who will assist him? Lalita and Vishaka. Isn't it sweet? He visited a place not Tirumala or Tirupati, where he extensively preached the chanting of the Lord. Wherever he went, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged everybody to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. The district of Tanjore, South India, the temple of Tirupati or Tirupati is situated in the valley of Venkatachala and contains the deity of Lord Ramachandra also. On the top of the Venkatachala is the famous temple of Balaji. I think you all have gone there. You know this. After visiting the temple of Tirumala, Tirupati, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had us to subdue some atheists and then visited the temple of Ahovila Narsimha. Ahovila, I think some of you would have gone. Nava Narsimha. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the land of Srirang Kshetra on the bank of Kaveri, he visited the temple of Sriranga and was overwhelmed with ecstasy of love of God. And there he met a great devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he stayed in the house of Venkata Bhatta, Trimala Bhatta, for 4 months of the rainy season. The Trimala Bhatta was a member of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. In fact, today also, after association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became a Gaudiya Vaishnava. So if you go there, they are with the Tilak, but they are his followers are called Gaudiya Sri Vaishnava. And learn it. From that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was both great scholar and great devotee to the Lord, he was very much astonished. Okay, so and then he invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to stay at his house. And then his son, Venkata Bhatta, son Gopal Bhatta joined him. One of the Goswamis was Gopala Bhatta Goswami. At the end of the Chaturmasa, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued traveling towards South India. At the time, he met Paramananda Puri. Paramananda Puri is of his guru's stature, Ishwar Puri Paramananda. He requested him also to join him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu collected his community, which is very, just like we are requesting everybody, and you all have to make a decision and let me know who wants to join our community so I can make all arrangements for you. When the temple comes, what is the use of having a structure without a community? We should have at least 500 members in the community. So when people come, they see, oh, so nice. So we should build the community. Okay? At that time, he met Paramananda Puri. Paramananda Puri, Ishwar Puri. Okay? So and he requested him, please join me. Okay? After this, Krishnadas, servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, delivered from the clutch of the Bhatta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited one place in Kerala, and there what happened, some tantrics were there. Even now, Kerala is famous for tantrics. And these people somehow caught hold of his servant who was doing assisting him on the yatra. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally saved him and brought him. And they allured him by a beautiful woman. And this person left the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very upset. This fellow fell victim to Maya. So you can be with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or you can be doing puja, arti to the Lord, and can fall victim to Maya. It's for you to be careful. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was mercifully, personally went to save him. And when he went to their camp, they took out weapons to attack Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But the weapons flew in the air and hit them back. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not going to lift weapon. And then he saw Krishnadasa by his hair, he dragged him out and brought him back. So he continued his service, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back. I said, what is this kind of a boy? Don't send him again with me. He's not so fixed up. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then met Rangapuri, Sri Rangapuri, and mitigated all the suffering of the Ramananda Ramadasa. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also had discussion with Tattvavadi community. Tattvavadi felt themselves to be inferior Vaishnavas. So Prabhupada makes a strong comment here. I don't think the Madhvas will be very happy to hear. He said Tattvavadi sect belongs to Madhvacharya Vaishnava community, but its behavior differs from the strict Madhvacharya Vaishnava principles. Even I find it, I respect them, but I find their behavior strange. When I go to Sri Rangam and the Sri Vaishnavas, which are, another sampradaya in one sense, and we do Harinam, they come and dance with us. There's so much joyous reception. Strange it is. We have done so, because we live in this area, they don't even come and, sit for some time there. They don't do that. I don't know, very strange it is. Some of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them, you're very proud. He directly told them, you're very proud. And he asked them some questions, and he said, your answers are also wrong. He said, what is the goal of life? How to attain it? They say, goal of life is to go to Vaikuntha. To attain it, we should follow Varnashrama. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, wrong. Goal of life is to attain Krishna Prema. And Varnashrama is external. The process is Shuddha Bhakti. Varnashrama is just material principle, They feel that birth in Madhva community is the most important thing in life. Birth is not given any importance in Bhagavad Gita, but they are so proud of their birth. Mostly they preach to their own birth communities only, and This is the reality. And very proud being Brahmana. They have 2 places for eating, and everybody sees that, everybody's upset about it, but it doesn't strike the head. If you're not Brahmana, according to their calculation, they will not allow you to sit in one place. They'll make you sit in another place meant for Shudras. They give you prasadam, but they're not very respectable towards you. Oh, yeah, Shudras. So nobody likes that, in fact, but it's part of it. So Chaitanya Prabhu himself detected that, and he said straight on the face, "You're all so proud. Why you're so proud?" And he demonstrated to them in a discussion their knowledge is not complete. So Prabhupada is also, as an Acharya writing, behavior is different from the strict Madhvacharya Vaishnava principles. If somebody has pleased Madhvacharya, it is actually ISKCON, which is the branch of Madhvacharya only. Correct. And more pleasing to him. It preaches all around the world vigorously. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited the Vishnu temples of Anantadeva, Purushottama, Sri Janardana, Padmanabha, and Vasudeva. So he visited all that. After that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered the celebrated Shaptatala trees that took it bath as Setubandha Rameshwara, with the temple of Lord Shiva known as Rameshwara. I think Rameshwara, you'll know that. These are the trees, that Saptatal trees were there, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just touched them and they went back to God. These trees were one of the trees the Lord Rama was hiding behind to kill Bali. Okay. So he delivered the trees and the trees went back to God. At Rameshwara, Sri Chaitanya had a chance to read the Kurma Purana, and in which he discovered the name of Sita, kidnapped by Ravana, but not that the real Sita, but of shadow Sita. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had previously met one great devotee, Ramadasa Vipra, just a few years ago. And when he went to the house, it was around 3 o'clock, and Ramadasa Vipra was just sitting. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I came to you, invited me for lunch, but you not even started cooking." So he was saying, he was in meditation on Rama Leela. He was saying, a demon has kidnapped the mother of the universe, Mother Sita. How can I eat? I feel like jumping into fire. He was in Leela Smaran of that. Chaitanya was very pleased to see his sincere meditation. Don't imitate it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anyway, convinced him, don't, with a philosophy, then how can it be so? We cannot even see Sita, forget about kidnapping. And later, when he got the evidence from the Shastra Kurma Purana, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually took that sheet and he got it copied and gave them the copy, and the original page he took, which looked very old, just to give it more authority, and took that sheet and said, "This is Kurma Purana, read." And when that Ramadasa read, he was very happy. And then he feasted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely. Last time, I was so neglectful. So have proper prasadam. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eagerly tore this page from Kurma Purana, and so the book was very old. He later showed it to Ramadasa Vipra's unhappiness was thus mitigated. On the way back, he met him again. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also found 2 other books named Brahma Samhita Krishna Karnamrita. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveling South India. And in one of the temples, he found these. Previously, books are not printed. They were lying in temples. And people used to go to the temples and hear, because it has to be hand copied. You cannot do that. I think it's a Keshav temple, Adi Keshav temple that was there. Okay. And Brahma Samhita Prabhupada has given with the commentary of his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. And those who want, you can read. Keep a dictionary in your hand, because Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada is a great scholar. You need English dictionary to read. After collecting these books, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri. At that time, the bathing ceremony of Jagannatha was taking place. He saw it. And Jagannatha was absent from the temple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not see him, felt separation left for Jagannath Puri to go to place of Alanatha. Now, Alanatha is, we went there, Alanatha, you remember? We went that at place, and Alanath is Jagannatha is present at Alanath and deity when he is on darshan is closed. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knowing that, ran to Alanatha so that to mitigate his separation from Jagannatha. So we cannot even imagine this emotion. Let us. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained for a few days at Alanatha. In the meantime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received news that all the devotees of Bengal are coming to Jagannath Puri. So they are coming, and he was there. The devotees of Bengal arrived. Both Nityananda Prabhu, Sarva Bhattacharya came there to take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu back to Jagannath Puri. All the devotees have come to be with him. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally left Alanatha to return to Jagannath Puri, he was overrun with both day and night due to separation from Jagannatha. His lamentation knew no bounds. Cannot imagine that. He has come to taste the separation from Krishna. During this time, all the devotees in different parts of Bengal, especially from Navadip, arrived at Jagannath Puri. After due consideration, all the devotees began chanting the holy name congregation. Seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense separation and pain, That is spiritual ecstasy. They started big Harinam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind was pacified by ecstasy chanting. So in case it happens, it should not happen, but as a devotee of sometime mind become disturbed, just chant or read Chaitanya Charitamrita, the most strongest scripture, and immediately your pain get mitigated. Previously, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been touring South and he had met Ramananda on the bank of Godavari. At the time, he decided Ramananda would resign from his post. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, come and join my community at Mayapur. Same thing, Krishna Grace, we like to set up here. Returned to Jagannath Puri to live with the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Upon order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Raya took leave of the king and returned to Jagannath Puri. After it arrived, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very enjoyed talking with him both day and night about Krishna and the pastime. So Saru Damodar and the Ramananda Raya, being Lalita and Vishaka, were closest to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the intimate pastime of Radha Leela, Radha Krishna Leela, were discussed only with them, not outside. Not outside. Outside was only Harinam and maybe a bit of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata philosophy. But the intense separation from Krishna was not revealed to public. That was kept within the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept tasting it with the assistance of Krishna is tasting that assistance of Lalita and Vishaka, who were helping Radharani in separation from Krishna. Same people. After Ramananda arrival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy upon Kashi Mishra and met Pradyumna Mishra and others. At the time, three personalities, Paramananda Puri, Govinda, and Kashishwara, came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They also, we met them. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met them. Paramananda Puri, he also came to stay with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Eventually, there was a meeting with Sarup Damodar Goswami, and the Lord became very pleased. Okay, and then the meeting is Sakimaiti and Bhavananda Raya and the father Ramananda. So they are joining him now. Sarup Damodar is joining all around. Take care. All the devotees from Bengal gradually began arriving Jagannath Puri, and at this time, the residents of Kulina Grama also came to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the first time. Eventually, Kulina Grama, we know, is Navadip of today. Okay? Eventually, Narari Das and other inhabitants of Khanda and Shivanasa all arrived, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met them. I'll take. After seeing the bathing ceremony in Lord Jagannatha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed and cleaned Sri Gundicha temple with assist of many devotees. We read that Gundicha temple margina, very beautiful pastime which will come. After this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees saw Rath Yatra and the cart festival. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself danced. The full chapter on that, Lord Chaitanya danced at the Rath Yatra. Another dancing, he entered a garden. And so there was a king, Pratap Rudra, king of Odisha. He wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I'm not going to meet the king. King means, wives, wealth, opulence. It's Maya. I don't want to meet him. Why I should meet? And he refused to meet him. And king said, I will give up my kingdom if I cannot meet him. He was a great devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused. So he was crying to Sarva Bhattacharya, what is the use, So big pastime happens. And finally, Sarva Bhattacharya tells him, they request, Nityananda Prabhu also requests Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So first time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sends one garment of his, so as prasadam. King is very happy to get that. Then finally he says, okay, send his son. His son comes to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blesses him, he becomes a pure devotee. And then finally, Sarva Bhattacharya says, okay, you not meet the king. He decided on plan. So when the Rath Yatra happened, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will, dancing in ecstasy after that, he lied on one bench on a garden. Okay? And when he does that, he's almost unconscious in ecstasy. So he told, go, Pratap Rudra, in a normal dress and sing Gita Govinda. And he holds the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Pratap Rudra, as an ordinary man and sings Gita Govinda. And hearing that, as he reaches certain verses, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just gets up and embraces him. And knowing, actually he knows everything, therefore he blessed the king actually. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired to meet all the devotees of Bengal every year, therefore he ordered them to come to see Rath Yatra festival every year. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was invited to dine at the house of Sarva Bhattacharya. While he was eating sumptuously, the son-in-law of Sarva Bhattacharya criticized him, Amoga. So this was a son, Sarva Bhattacharya, and he was little for an offender. And Sarva Bhattacharya, served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and as his emotion, he used to make Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eat like Jagannatha, mountain he will make of rice. So Amoga, he was an offender. So he came in, this sannyasi is eating food that, dozens of people can eat. What kind of fellow is this? He spoke like this. Sarva Bhattacharya was so hurt, he ran with a stick behind him. And, he told his daughter, so his wife actually cursed, let this, our son-in-law die. And actually it happened. He got some disease and he was in a bed and about to die. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to know. He runs and touches his heart with his hand. You are such a pure person. Why you're having so much envy and, fault finding in your heart? I remove this. And by Lord Chaitanya's touch, he gets up and becomes a great devotee and comes out of his death. Chaitanya Bhattacharya, you should have let him die. He did so much offense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was invited down to the house. Okay, because of his Shati's mother cursed him, praying that Shati, her daughter, become a widow. The word they cursed son-in-law to die. At the end of the year, all the devotees of Bengal, headed by Advaitacharya, again came to see the Lord, and indeed there was a great rush of devotees to Jagannath Puri. When all the devotees of Bengal arrived, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu allotted the residential quarter. Shivananda Sena was put in charge of the maintenance. Just like with the yatras, we have somebody taking care of everybody, so that's how it is. A dog named Shivananda Sena, other devotees, another would accompanied Shivananda. Shivananda Sena was actually the yatra manager. Okay? He used to pay all the tolls and manage all the yatras, expenses, everything, give them prasadam, make all arrangements. Once what happened is that one dog came and I was affectionate. Come, he also come to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he paid for his stall all the time, and the boat and all, he paid extra to the boatman for the dog and is maintaining him. And one day what happened, the dog disappeared. He was very sad. Where the dog went? Actually, dog ran and went to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when they finally reached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shivananda Sena with his team, he said the dog is in front of him, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving prasadam. Chant Hare Krishna, and giving prasadam, chant Hare Krishna. And they saw the dog going back to Godhead in front of them. So that is the mercy of a Vaishnava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all gave him special mercy. Liberated and went back to Godhead. Everyone met Sarna Bhattacharya on his way to Varanasi. After arriving at Jagannath Puri, all the Vaishnavas met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sported in the water, taking all the devotees with him. So there is, different Sarovar in Jagannath Puri, and they have a beautiful pastime, Narendra Sarovar, under the Sarovar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to sometimes have water sports with his dear devotees. First, the Lord washed the temple of Gundicha very thoroughly, and then everyone saw the Rath Yatra festival and the Lord's dancing before the car. In the garden along the road of Jagannath temple to the Gundicha, Lord Chaitanya performed various pastimes. The Brahmana named Krishnadasa performed the bathing ceremony of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After dancing in the Gundicha temple, the Lord sported in the water with his devotees. And the Hera Panchami day, they all saw the activity of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi. On Janmashtami, Lord Krishna's birthday, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed himself as a coward boy. At the time, he carried a balance of the pot of yogurt and wheeled a rod around. So people said, okay, now you're playing the drama of Krishna. So you have to, play the Gopa, the stick playing with the flute. Do it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did it. After that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to all the devotees from Gauda Desha, Bengal, and continued chanting with the intimate devotees who constantly remained. So one team was always with him. Okay. To visit Vrindavan, the Lord went to the Gauda Desha, Bengal. This is the first attempt, which was unsuccessful. On this way, King Prataprudra performed variety of service to please the Lord. Every place, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was just going to go from one day is going to come. There was a kitchen maid and all arrangement made. He was doing service all the time, arrange everything on the way. On the way to Vrindavan via Bengal, there was an incident wherein some cloth was exchanged with Puri Goswami. Sri Ramananda Rai accompanied the Lord as far as the city of Bhadraka. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached Vidyanagara, Bengal, we are hearing about this pastime on Sunday morning. Way to Vrindavan, he stopped in the house of Vidya Vachaswati. We are hearing Sarna Bhattacharya's brother, who was the brother of Sarna Bhattacharya. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly arrived at his house, the great crowds of people gathered. For 5 consecutive days, all the people gathered to see the Lord, and still there was no rest. Out of fear of the crowd, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left at night and went to the town of Kulia. We heard that, how people are protesting to Vidya Vachash, thinking that he's hiding Lord Chaitanya. He said, I myself don't know where is he. Then he had already visited Kulia, present day Navadip, we are hearing about. Here in the Lord arrived Kulia Gram, and hundreds of thousands of people came to see him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually from Jagannath Puri going to Vrindavan through his hometown. The specific act performed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at this time was showing favor to Devananda Pandita. We heard about that. Devananda Pandita was initially an offender and then became a great devotee. And then excuse the Brahmana, the Gopala Chapala, same Gopala Chapala we read, who was very offensive to Shiva's Thakur. He said that he is just worshipper of Devi with all the tamasic paraphernalia, and then he got leprosy. So at this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came back, he forgave the offense of Gopal Chapala. He said, go to Shiva's, ask pardon, I bless you. And he came out of his leprosy, became a gentleman. From the offense he had committed to the lotus feet, Shiva's Thakur. Many a thief and blasphemer came and fell at the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord in return excused them and gave them love of God. When Sri Narasimhananda Brahmachari heard the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to Vrindavan, he became very pleased and mentally began decorating the way. Now, this is called Manas Puja. Sometimes you see the deity, you are just like Vasudeva, Krishna's father, when he was in the prison and Krishna was born. He wanted to do something. What did he have? Kings had a mood to give charity. He gave thousands of cows in charity in the mind. So you can do Manas Puja. In fact, when we serve the deities properly in the temples, we all sit first mentally, we worship the deity, then we go inside. From first, Narasimhananda Brahmachari contemplated a broad road starting from the city of Kulia, and he bedecked a road with jewels upon which he laid down a bed of stemless flowers. He mentally decorated both sides of the road with bakula flower trees, and at the intervals of both sides, he placed lakes of transcendental nature. These lakes had bathing places constructed with jewels, and they were filled with blossoming lotus flowers. The various birds chirping, and the water was exactly like nectar. The entire road was surcharged with many cool breezes, which carried the fragrance of various flowers. He carried the construction of the road as far as Kanai Nat Shala. And after that, he could not. It was stuck. He could not construct the road mentally. And he was, making a jewel road, a nice lakes all around. What all he can do, nice birds chirping. So he was doing mentally. But in the mind of Narasimhananda Brahmachari, the road could not be constructed beyond Kanai Natshala. Before it happened, he knew the Lord will not go beyond Kanai Natshala. He could not understand whether the Lord's construction could not be complete. Thus, he was astonished, and he told everybody, this time, Lord Chaitanya is not going to Vrindavana. You get assurance, he then told the devotee, the Lord Chaitanya will not go to Vrindavana at that time. And it happened that Lord Chaitanya met Rupa and Sarupa there, and they requested him, this is not the way to go to Vrindavan with lakhs of people, because whole lakhs of people were going. Narasimhananda Brahmachari, the Lord will go to Kanai Natshala and then return. All of you come to know of this later, but I now say with great assurance, he will return. He will not go beyond. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to proceed toward Kulia, towards Vrindavan, 1,000 men were with him, and all of them were devotees. Wherever the Lord visited, crowds of innumerable people came to see him. When they saw him, all the unhappiness and lamentation disappeared. And what they were doing, see, wherever the Lord touched the ground with his lotus feet, people immediately came and gathered the dirt. Indeed, they gathered so much that many holes were created on the road. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eventually arrived at the village named Ramakeli, and with the village situated in the border of Bengal, and is very excused. And this is where it stops. He doesn't go beyond. And here he's going to meet Rupa and Sanatana. While performing Sankirtan Ramakeli Grama, the Lord danced and sometimes lost consciousness to the love of God. While at Ramakeli, an unlimited number of people came to see his lotus feet. When Muslim king of the Bengal heard of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's influence in attracting innumerable people, he began very astonished and began to speak as follows. Who was the Nawab Hussain Shah? Who is the Nawab Hussain Shah? Previous life. Yeah, nobody speaking. People are alive, dead. Who is Nawab? Kamsa. Wow. Okay. But he's now purified. Yeah, he's purified because of he was killed by Krishna. Okay. But such a person who follows so many people without giving them charity must be a prophet. I can surely understand this fact. He said, he's not giving money. Why lakhs of people following? Must be a prophet. Muslim king ordered the magistrate, do not disturb this Hindu prophet out of jealousy. Let him do his own, wherever he likes that. So don't become jealous of him and not disturb. When the Muslim king asked his assistant Keshav Chatri for the news influence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Keshav Chatri was the devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knew everything about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, tried to avoid the conversation, not giving any importance. We have to be clever sometimes because this fellow is dangerous. The Keshav Chatri informed the Muslim, he's a mendicant touring places, and now only few people see him, Out of jealousy, Muslim servants plots, some of your servant plot. I think you should not be very interested, just ignore him. No profit, rather than simply loss. After pacifying king in this way, Keshav Chatri sent a Brahmana message to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requesting him to leave without delay. You've been noticed by this dangerous king, you just move out of this place. In a private, the king inquired from now Dabir Khas. Now, Dabir Khas is Rupa Goswami. That is the name he had given. Okay? Not that Rupa Goswami was a Muslim, actually. The name, title, Dabir Khas is the title. And Shakir Malik is for Sanatan. They were practically home minister and what do you call them? Prime minister of the king, who began to speak about the glories of the Lord. Shri Rupa Goswami, the Supreme Personality Godhead, who gave you this kingdom and with whom you accept as prophet has taken birth in a country due to your good fortune. This prophet always desires your good fortune. By his grace, all your business will be successful. By his blessing, you'll attain victories everywhere. Why are you questioning me? Better you question your own mind, because you're a king. King has a big responsibility, empowerment. Within your mind, the answer will be there. Because you are the king of the people, you are the representative Supreme Personality Godhead in that way. Therefore, you can understand this better than I. Rupa Goswami informed the king about his mind as a way of knowing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assured the king that whatever occurred in his mind could be understood evidence. And the king replied, I considered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the Supreme Personality Godhead. There is no doubt about it. Raja kahe shuna mora mane ye laya sakshat Ishvara iha nahi ka samshaya. I have no doubt sakshat Ishvara is God himself. Just see. Wow. After having this conversation, Rupa Goswami, the king entered his private house. Rupa Goswami, the knowing that Dabir Khas also returned to his residence. After returning to residence, Dabir Khas and his brother decided with much consideration to go to see the Lord incognito. In dead in the night, two brothers, Dabir Khas and Shakir Malik, went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu incognito. First, they met Nityananda Prabhu and Haridasa. Nityananda Prabhu and Haridasa told Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the two personalities, Rupa and Sanatana, had come to see him. In great humility, both brothers took bunches of straw between the teeth, and each, binding a cloth around their neck, fell down like rods before the Lord. So this is what the practice. Today we don't have this kind of practice. We don't take a straw with us. This is just a practice of extreme humility. Upon seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the two brothers were overwhelmed with joy, and out of humility they began to cry. Lord Chaitanya asked them to get up and assured them all good fortune. The two brothers got up, and again, taking straw between their teeth, they humbly offered their prayers with folded hands. All glories to Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most merciful savior of the fallen souls. All glories to Supreme Personality. Sir, we belong to the lowest class of men. Our associates are and employment is also lowest kind. Therefore, we cannot introduce ourselves to you. We feel very ashamed standing before you. Imagine this humility. Dear Lord, let us inform you that no one is more sinful than us, nor is there any offender like us. Even if we wanted to mention our sinful activities, we will immediately become ashamed. What to speak of giving them up? Isn't that our condition? But Rupa Sanatana don't think it is a condition. They are also Rupa Manjari Sanatana. They are associates of Radharani in the spiritual world. But that's the nature of devotees. In ecstasy, they speak. Both brothers submitted, dear Lord, you have incarnate delivered fallen soul. You should consider that in this world there is nobody as fallen as us. You deliver the two brothers, Jagai and Madai, but to deliver them, you don't have to exert yourself so much. The brothers Jagai and Madai belong to the Brahmana caste, and the residents fall in the holy place of Navadipa. They never served low-class persons, and nor they were instruments to abominable. Last see, in seeing instead of the bad quality, they're seeing in good quality. They are dhamvasis. And they have not served sinful people. We are serving this sinful king. And we are not so fortunate like them, belonging to, pure samskara. Jagai Madai had one fault. They were addicted to some sinful activity. But how volume sinful activity can he burn? Simply by dim reflection or chanting of your holy name. So there is a lot of discussion. Prabhupada says, when you accept a master, like a dog, it's a business of a dog. Taking job is like becoming a dog at somebody. And then you have to bark at people, innocent people. That's what you need to become a dog. You have to protect your master and just bark for his pleasure. Jagai Madai uttered your holy name by the way of blaspheming you. Fortunately, your holy name became the cause of the deliverance. We are millions and millions of times inferior to Jagai and Madai. We are more degraded, fallen, and sinful than they. Actually belong to the caste of the meat eaters because we are servant of the meat eaters. Indeed, our activities are exactly like those of the meat eaters because we are always associated with such people. We are inimical toward cows and brahmanas. The two brothers, Shakir Malik and Dabir Khas, very humbly submitted due to their abominable activity. They are now bound by the neck and hands, and they're thrown into a ditch filled with abominable stool-like objects of material sense enjoyment. I think it's 9:13. No one in the three words is sufficiently powerful to deliver us. You are the only savior of the fallen soul. Therefore, there is no one but you. If you simply deliver us by your transcendental strength, then certainly your name will be known as Patita Pavana, savior of the fallen. Let us speak one word that is very true. Plainly hear us, O merciful Lord. There is no other object of mercy in three words but us. We are most fallen. Therefore, by showing us your mercy is most merciful. Let the power of your mercy be exhibited through the entire universe. Let us submit one piece of information before you. Dear Lord, it is not at all false, but it is full of meaning, and it is this. If you are not merciful upon us, then it will be very, very difficult to find more suitable candidate for your mercy. We are very depressed at being unfit candidate for your mercy, but since we have heard of your transcendental qualities, we are very much attracted to you. Indeed, we are like a dwarf who wants to capture the moon. Although we are completely unfit, our desire to receive mercy is awakened within our mind. By serving you constantly, one is freed from all the material desires and completely pacified. When shall I engage as your permanent eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a fitting master? This is one from Sri Yamunacharya, prayer by Yamunacharya. After hearing the prayer of Dabir Khas and Shakir Malik, Chaitanya Prabhu said, my dear Dabir Khas, you two brothers are my old servants. They are who? They are Rupa Manjari and another Manjari, Sanatan Gosai. My dear Shakir Malik, from this day, your name will be changed to Sri Rupa and Sanatana. Now, please abandon your humility, for my heart is breaking to see you so humble. Because Chaitanya Prabhu knows who they are. Okay? So this is the initiation. So this is how actually we should be humble when we are taking initiation. We are representing the great Sampradaya, correct? So person who is giving initiation in heart, even if you don't express outside. This is true. For Rupa Sanatana, this is artificial. In one sense, they are speaking in ecstasy. But for us, it is true. All this is true. Every word is true. You have written several letters showing you have humility. I can understand your behavior from those. So they have been writing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because your letters, I could not understand your heart. Therefore, in order to teach you, I sent you one verse which reads as follows. If a woman is attached to a man other than her husband, she will appear very busy in carrying out the household affairs. Within her heart, she is always relishing the feeling of association with other paramour. I really had no business. So similarly, we should be attached to Krishna, even though you are in bits of your business. I really no business coming to Bengal, but I come here just to see you two brothers. So actually, Chaitanya, this visit was just to get Rupa and Sanatana. Everyone is asking why I come to this village of Ramakeri. No one knows my intentions. It is very good that your two brothers have come to see me. Now you can go home. Do not fear anything. Birth after birth, you have been my eternal servants. I am sure that Krishna will deliver you very soon. He is Krishna himself. I will bless you. The Lord then placed two hands on the heads of both of them, and in return, they immediately placed the lotus feet of the Lord on their heads. After this, the Lord embraced both of them and requested them, all the devotees present, to be merciful of them and deliver them. How sweet. Harini, mute yourself. When all the devotees saw the mercy of Lord upon the two brothers, they were very much gladdened and they began to chant the holy name, Hari, Hari. All the Vaishnava saints of the Lord are present, including Nityananda, Haridas Thakur, Sivas Thakur, Gadadhar Pandita, Mukunda, Jagadananda, Murari, and Vakreshwara. In according to the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, the two brothers Rupa Sanatana immediately touched the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas, who all became very happy and congratulated two brothers for having received the mercy of the Lord. Always this is the attitude. That we want this kind of behavior in the community. People have a respect for Vaishnavas, want to serve Vaishnavas. Ye nahi dekh lenge, hok lenge. These people have to be kicked out whenever they appear in the community. We need people who are proper Vaishnava etiquette, culture. After begging the permission of the Vaishnavas present, the two brothers at the time of their departure humbly submitted something at the lotus feet of the Lord. He said, Dear Lord, although the king of Bengal, Nawab Hussain Shah, is very respectful to you, You have no other business here. Kindly depart from this place. Okay, it's dangerous. This fellow is dangerous. Please, Krishna is not to be but out of affection. Although the king is respectful, he still belongs to the Yavana class and should not be believed. We think that there is no need for such a great crowd to accompany you on your pilgrimage to Vrindavan. They are hinting it. Dear Lord, you are going to Vrindavan, 100,000 people following you. And this is not fitting way to go to a pilgrimage. Sometimes for a business purpose, large crowds of men are taken to different places of pilgrimage, money is collected. So therefore, we made a rule, all the yatras are cost to cost. You don't take 1 rupee profit. And Atul Krishna Prabhu also guided me on this line. There should be 0 profit, just cost to cost. That is a very lucrative business, and Shri Rupa and Sanatana expressed the opinion in the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disapproved of such crowded pilgrimages. And it's a different relation of business. Actually, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya visited Vrindavan, he visited it alone and accepted servant only at the devotee's request. He never visited Vrindavan with crowds of people for a commercial purpose. Although Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Krishna himself, the Supreme Lord, and therefore not at all fearful, he still acted like a human being to teach neophyte how to act. Having spoken, the 2 brothers offered prayers to lotus feet of the Lord and returned to their homes. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then desired to leave that village. In the morning, the Lord left and went to the place known as Kannai Natshala. While there, he saw many pastimes of Lord Krishna. That night, the Lord considered Sanatana Goswami's proposal that he should not go to Vrindavana following so many people. Lord thought, if I go to Mathura with such crowd behind me, it will not be a very happy situation for the atmosphere to be disturbed. Actually, many times it's not easy. In fact, devotees who organize pilgrimage, they're not able to visit any place when they come with that. I generally ask them go before, because with the crowd, you can't do anything. You're busy with the logistics. And the Lord concluded that he would go alone to Vrindavana at most, and he would take only 1 person as his companion. In that way, going to Vrindavana would be very pleasant. Like this time, we went to Mahaprabhu, you didn't tell us. I didn't want to tell anybody. There's so many people will come. Then again, difficult. Thinking like that, the Lord took his morning bath in the Ganges, started for Neelachala, saying, I shall go there. Neelacha is Jagannath Puri. He went back. Walking, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Shantipura and remained at the house of Advaitacharya for 5 to 7 days. Taking the opportunity, Shri Advaitacharya Prabhu sent for her mother Sachidevi, and she remained in the house for 7 days to prepare meals. So she got one more chance to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Taking permission from his mother, so Chaitanya Mata saw him while going and while coming back. Taking permission from his mother, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started for Jagannath Puri, and when the devotees followed him, he humbly begged them to remain and bade them forward. And at this time, Advaitacharya was actually intensely crying. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you're an elderly person. If you cry like this, what will be others' condition? Please control yourself. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all they would go back, allowed 2 people to follow him and requested all that he would come back to Jagannath Puri, meet him during the car festival. So 2 persons accompanied Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Jagannath Puri were Balabhadra Bhattacharya and Damodara Pandita. After remaining in Jagannath Puri a few days, the Lord secretly started from Vrindavana at night. Now he again made a plan and he secretly went. He did this without anyone's knowledge. Otherwise, other crowd will come. When Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Jagannath Puri for Vrindavan, only Balabhadra Bhattacharya was with him. Thus, he traveled on the path through Jharikhanda and arrived in Banaras with great delight. This time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not want to take that Kala Krishnadasa because, he had run away last time. So, Nityananda Prabhu requested to Balabhadra Bhattacharya. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Banaras only for 4 days and then he left for Vrindavana. After seeing that, and this, what happened? That he, the Tapan Mishra and 2 people, Chandrasekhar Acharya, received him and they said, it's great pain. This Prakashana is criticizing you. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to Banaras and delivered Prakashana Saraswati. When Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited all the 12 places of Shri Krishna's pastime, became very agitated because of ecstasy. Balabhadra Bhattacharya somehow got him out of Mathura. In fact, difficult it was. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in intense ecstasy. So finally, Balabhadra Bhattacharya decided, let us go back. After leaving Mathura, Lord began to walk along a path of the Ganges and finally reached the holy place named Prayag, Allahabad. It was here Sri Rupa Goswami came and met the Lord now. And Rupa Goswami was first to leave the Mahaprabhu Shensa and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. And for 10 days, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed him here. Okay? And Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar Acharya could, get the benefit of this knowledge. At Prayag, Rupa Goswami fell down on the ground to offer obeisance to the Lord. Lord embraced him with great delight. After instructing Sri Rupa Goswami at Prayag at the Dasameva Ghata, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him to go to Vrindavan. The Lord then returned to Varanasi. Now he was instructed to go to Vrindavana. When Lord Chaitanya arrived at Varanasi, Sanatana Goswami met him there. Okay. So there are two different places I keep mixing. Prayag is different, Varanasi is different. Okay. And Sanatana Goswami met him there, and here he instructed Sanatana next. The Lord remained here for 2 months and instructed Sanatana Goswami perfectly. After fully instructing Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went sent to Mathura to join his brother and empowered him with the devotion service. In Banaras, he also bestowed mercy upon Mayavada sannyasis, and then he returned to Jagannatha, Nilachala. The Lord traveled all over India for 6 years. This travel of South India and this Vrindavan was 6 years. And therefore, 24 plus 6 is 30, remaining how many years? 48 years. So remaining 18 years is Antalila, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of the Jagannath Puri. He was sometimes here and sometimes there performing his transcendental pastime, sometimes he remained at Jagannath Puri. While at Jagannath Puri, the Lord passed his time in great joy by performing Sankirtan and visiting the temple of Jagannath in great ecstasy. That I give the synopsis of Madhya Leela, the middle pastime of the Lord. Now a devotee kindly hear the synopsis of the final pastime of the Lord known as Antya Leela. When the Lord returned to Jagannath Puri from Vrindavan, he remained there and did not go anywhere else for 18 years. Thus, during those 18 years, all the devotees of Bengal used to visit him to Jagannath Puri every year. They would remain there for 4 continuous months and enjoy the company of the Lord. At Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed chanting and dancing. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was still there, but we go there, we can't see him. At Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed chanting and dancing unceasingly. Thus, he enjoyed the pastime of Sankirtan. He manifested his causeless mercy, pure love of God, to everyone, including the lowest man. Residing with the Lord at Jagannath Puri was Pandita Gosai and other devotees at Vakreshwara, Damodara, Shankara, and Haridas Thakur. Jagadananda Bhagavan, Govinda, Kashishwara, Paramananda Puri, Sarup Damodar, all devotees are also live with the Lord. Shri Ramananda, other devotees are also residents of Jagannath Puri, also remain permanently with the Lord. Other devotees of the Lord, headed by Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda, Shivaswanda, Vasudeva Murari, used to visit Jagannath Puri and remain with the Lord for 4 continuous months and go back. The Lord enjoyed various pastimes in their company. At Jagannath Puri, Haridas Thakur passed away. We saw that place. And the incident was very wonderful because the Lord himself performed the festival of Haridas Thakur departure. He made samadhi by his own hand and danced with the body of Haridas Thakur. At Jagannath Puri, Sri Rupa Goswami met Lord again. He came back from Vrindavan, met him, and the Lord invested in his heart all the transcendental power. After the Lord punished junior Haridas, Chota Haridas, who was attracted to staring at a woman with a lusty eye, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Don't come in my company. So be careful. You'll not get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You may get sense gratification." And Damodar Pandita gave some warning to the Lord. This is another pastime we will read. Therefore, thereafter, there was somebody coming and meeting him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and a young boy. Chaitanya, very affectionate to him. Damodar Pandita said, his mother is a widow and very young and beautiful. People will accuse you of trying to become intimate to that. When we so detailed, sannyasi's life shade is so pure. He said, "My Lord, be careful." Okay. Anyway, the Lord is free to act. He could not punish, but not have the desire. But he should not have known Lord is a free. Anyway, that action is not very much appreciated by the advanced devotees. This action. Thereafter, Sanatana Goswami met the Lord again, and the Lord tested him in scorching heat during the month of Jaishtha. In the month of Jaishtha. Being pleased, the Lord sent Sanatana Goswami back to Vrindavan. After that, he was fed. Okay, just wait. So, Rupa Goswami came, and then Sanatana Goswami has come. The Lord tested him, the scorching heat. Lord Chaitanya called for Sanatana Goswami. So he could have come through the temple path as we were there, but he came through the beach path. If you remember, you're going to that resort on the beach. So through the beach path, he came to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the beach, the sand was hot, and he ran through the hot sand. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "See, why did you come? Your legs are burnt." "No, I'm so fallen. But, the priest serving Jagannatha should not even see me, and they may by mistake touch me. I'm very fallen." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tested his humility. Being pleased, the Lord sent Sanatana Goswami back to Vrindavan. After that, he fed wonderfully. He was by the hand of Advaita Acharya. There is a big feast. Chaitanya Charitamrita is filled with a chapter of feast. After sending Sanatana Goswami back to Vrindavan, the Lord privately consulted Nityananda Prabhu. He then sent him to Bengal to preach the love of God. It says, and Nityananda Prabhu, go. Nityananda Prabhu didn't want to go, but he forced him. So, and he also asked him to accept the Grihastha ashram. Soon afterward, Vallabha Bhatta met Lord at Jagannath Puri, and the Lord explained to him the import of the holy name of the Lord Krishna. Vallabhacharya, later he became Vallabhacharya. He was also came to him, just like Kesha Kashmiri, one sampradaya, Vallabhacharya, another sampradaya, Rudra sampradaya. After explaining, and Kesha Kashmiri joined, I think, the Kurma sampradaya. This is Rudra sampradaya. After explaining the transcendental qualities of Ramananda Raya, the Lord sent Pradyumna Mishra to the residence of Ramananda Raya, and Pradyumna Mishra learned about Krishna Katha. And Ramananda Raya was, when he heard from Ramananda Raya, the Chaitanya Charitamrita says, a big chapter there, the ocean of love of Godhead was shaking when Ramananda was explaining about Krishna Leela. Pradyumna Mishra was fully satisfied. After this, Lord Chaitanya Prabhu saved Gopinath Patnayaka. Gopinath Patnayaka had not paid some loan of the king, and the king's son, put him on the, deathbed. He was about to be thrown on the swords. They're dead. So then he was, Gopinath Patnayaka was constantly chanting the name of the Lord. And everybody went to Chaitanya Prabhu, please save him, please save him. You can always say a word to the king. Chaitanya Prabhu said, my God, what is this? You people don't disturb me like this. But so the king came to know his son is, the prince was about to punish him to death penalty for not paying the loan. The king came to know and then, corrected everything. And then Gopinath Patnayaka came to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, what are you doing? He said, I was constantly chanting and, keeping count by marking on my body. So anyway, so this pastime is considered there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, people don't pay their loans and then they disturb me like this. Ramachandra Puri criticized. Ramachandra Puri was on the level of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's guru, Ishwar Puri's godbrother, but he was a very big fault finder. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of respect for him, because in the guru's level, respected him, but he was only finding fault with everybody. Somebody comes, he'll feed him so much. And then he says, see, you eat so much, like that. He even said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, see, your place sweets are there. You are eating, what a sannyasi you are. So he was very critical and dry and disturbing. Devotees bore him, and finally, when he went away, everybody celebrated. Ramachandra criticized Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eating, therefore the Lord reduced his eating to a minimum. However, when all the Vaishnavas became very sorry, the Lord increased the portion to half as much as usual. The 14 planetary systems in the universe and all living entities reside in those planetary systems. Dressing like a human being on a pilgrimage, they all used to come to Jagannath Puri to visit Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One day, all the devotees headed by Shivas Thakur were chanting the transcendental qualities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not liking the chanting of his transcendental qualities, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised them as if he was angry. What kind of chanting is this? Are you leaving aside the chanting of the holy name of the Lord? Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised all his devotees, telling them not to show impudence and spoil the entire world by becoming independent. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was apparently in an angry mood and chastised his devotees, many thousands of people outside loudly cried in tumultuous voice, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All the people began to call very loudly, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the son of Maharaj Nanda. Now he appeared in order to deliver the word. Oh Lord, you are very unhappy. We are very unhappy. We have come a long distance to see you. Please be merciful to show us your favor. The Lord heard the humble petition made by the people. He heart softened. Being very merciful, he immediately came out and gave audience to all of them. Raising his arms, the Lord asked everyone to chant loudly the vibration of the holy name of the Lord, Hari. There immediately arose a great stir, and the vibration Hari filled all directions. Seeing the Lord, everyone became joyful out of love. Everyone accepted the Lord as the supreme, and they offered their prayers. While the people are offering their prayers unto the Lord, Shivas Thakur sarcastically said to the Lord, at home you wanted to be covered. Now why you expose yourself outside? Shivas Thakur continued, who has taught these people? What are they saying? Now you can cover their mouth with their own hand. He's playing with them. Now cover their mouths. The Lord replied, my dear Shivas, Srinivasa. Yeah, this is Srinivasa. Okay. Shivas and Srinivasa. Okay. I'm seeing somewhere Shiva, somewhere Srinivasa. Okay, leave it. Shekala Eilo ke kaha kaun bata iya shabara mukha dakar. I think it is. Okay, chalo. We will figure out later. My Srinivasa, please stop joking. You have combined together to humiliate me in this way. This is Srinivasa.
One is left.
Yeah. Thus speaking, the Lord entered his room after glancing auspiciously upon the Lord out of charity. People out of charity. In this way, the desires of people are completely fulfilled. At this time, Raghunath Das approached Sri Nityananda Prabhu and according to order prepared a feast and distributed prasadam composing chipped rice and curd. That is Pani Hatti festival. Some of you joined that happened. Raghunath Das Goswami, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, finally comes and joins Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami left home and took shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Jagannath Puri. At that time, the Lord received him, placed him under the care of Savur Damodara for spiritual enlightenment. Thus, I give enough sinners to the Madhya Leela. Now, please hear the pastime the Lord performed during the last 12 years. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Raghunatha, always desiring the mercy, I, Krishna, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Okay. So there's a synopsis going on of the scripture to come, and later we will read each pastime in detail. Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Pranam Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
Manasvi.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I had a question that this Ramananda Raya is Lalita Sakhi and Arjuna also, but this Arjuna is Vishakha Sakhi. So, is Ramananda Raya both Vishakha Sakhi and Lalita Sakhi?
Arjuna is Vishaka. That is some other Arjuna. Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
I heard Mahabharata Arjuna was Vishakha Sakhi.
I hear you. No, I'm okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter no much. Correct?
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Lakshmi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. I just wanted to ask, why did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concentrate mostly or most of his pastimes in Puri instead of going like Vrindavan or any other like places? Why Puri was his main target, Prabhuji?
Yeah, because Jagannatha, the very form of Jagannatha is in ecstasy, in separation from his devotees.
Okay.
Jagannatha, the very form, if you know how that form was formed.
Yes.
When the Lord heard the pastime. So I think it connected well to his pleasure for which he came. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to taste the separation from the Lord. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in separation from Radharani. Anna?
Yes.
And Lord Chaitanya is actually Radharani, mood of Radharani separation from Krishna. And Jagannatha is Krishna in mood of separation from Radharani. So it nicely combines.
Okay. So that is why he made Puri his main like center.
He stayed there most of the time. He stayed there. Correct.
So that is why he didn't, even though he traveled all over India, like he made Puri the
main place is stayed at Puri. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhabeva cha patitanam pavane vaishnavanam anand kodi vaishnavati ki jai.